Speeding through the Sky Sanctuary, it's time to start my Sonic Generations walkthrough. Hey everybody, I'm DioGenZ, and today we're checking out the beautiful Sky Sanctuary. So awesome how they greet you with colorful parrots and birds hanging out everywhere. You can see them in the background there, as a matter of fact. And this fluffy yet plant-overtaken world is one of the hardest levels for me to complete. I doubt I'll be getting super on this one, but we'll see what happens. The funny thing is also, apparently this game, this level at least I should say, is from Sonic and Knuckles. And I've mentioned before that I did get that game in a collection pack once for GameCube, but the thing is, I never completed it. Never completed it up to this point. Which, I know, sounds pathetic, but hey, I was much more of a noob back then than I am today, and especially not short-tempered, but I've got a policy, and I've always kept this policy active, a lot more so when I was less skilled at games, but, you know, it's still lesser today because I try a bit more. But that policy is, if I'm not having fun with a game, I'm putting it down. I don't need to throw it, don't need to rage quit, but if it's not enjoyable to me anymore, and the challenges are just too damn tough, wow, that was really cool parrots, by the way, then, no, you know, I just don't need to play it. I really don't need to be frustrated by some imaginary storyline that isn't ultimately going to affect my life. Kind of funny now, though, because I do have partnership, and now these games do somewhat affect my life, the success of how they are rated by you, the viewer, and that's fine by me. It's kind of cool to have games influence my life a lot more than they used to, and that's probably also a part of why I can play a lot more hardcore, and I should have waited for the blast there. Play a lot more hardcore than I used to. Not because of the money, but just because I'm older and more skilled. But it certainly helps the fact that I'm being promoted by Full Screen Entertainment. So this level I never got a chance to see in my version of Sonic and Knuckles, and I see a bounce pad back there I have no idea how to get to. Man, it's one of the many enjoyments of this game is all the alternate paths that you can go on. You see them checking, or you see them not checking, but chilling out in the background there, and you're not too sure how to get there, but one day you'll find it after zooming around endlessly in these worlds. And speaking of which, that thing that we were riding kind of looked like a globe, didn't it? So it's kind of funny. I know that I've played Sonic and Knuckles, but wow, I had no idea this level was in there. Very cool level design, though. Don't get me wrong, just because I suck at this level in particular, doesn't mean I don't like it. It's really beautifully designed. I love all the vegetation everywhere. And all the, really all the different paths, again, it's something that I'm going to mention multiple times, so sorry if it becomes banal every time I mention it, but it's really one of the most spectacular features, going backwards there, one of the most spectacular features in this game. Oh wow, so you know what, we weren't going backwards, we would have been headed the right way. And that is awesome too. I love, not the interactable, it's not like it's interactable environments, those are definitely planned events. But I love to see the world reacting to Sonic running around. When things are falling out from underneath my feet, it's really intense. And oh, right there, we saw that we had a multitude of paths to choose from. How we get to them? Well, we'll just have to replay and find out. Beautiful birds in the background, and I got a B. That's pretty good still. I'm okay with a B. I don't, like I said, need supers all the way. I am just here to play. Let's see if I fare any better with the modern Sonic version of this level. Oh, and speaking of color, if you want to make your hub world a lot less white and bleak with the destruction of that Time Eater kind of monster, then you have to complete levels. And not just these levels where we have modern and classic Sonic switching back and forth to defeat the various stages, but also the challenge modes. My first playthrough of this game was kind of fast just because I wanted to get to the LP, but something I've noticed that when you complete the challenges in Classic and Modern Sonic mode, the rest of the world kind of fills in. If you just do the main missions and you just run through, then all you're going to see get recolored is the little section of stage that you versed on. So in order to really get the world back into full color and not just little segments, you have to complete the challenges. And don't worry, there are some challenges that are kind of bummers to do, but for the most part, they're all enjoyable. And how this LP/walkthrough is going to go is every time I do a... okay, so I gotta use the egg bot to hop up to a higher platform there. Pretty cool. But every time there's a challenge, I'll just separate the episode so that we complete all the challenges in one zone. So the Sky Sanctuary zone will be completed all at once with Modern Sonic and then Classic Sonic, or vice versa. This way you can get a competent guide that doesn't have you go to a million videos, because that's one of the things about the challenges. I should have went for the homing attack. It's one of the things about the challenges that is variable. Some of them are fast, some of them are kind of tedious and slow. Especially the ones in Sky Sanctuary, which we have Knuckles going on a treasure hunt, but we'll get to that later. So, you know, I wouldn't want to waste your time or just give you an inadequate video by giving you a little too less of content. And surprisingly, this part here I find to be one of the hardest spots in the Sky Sanctuary zone, because for some reason when you're going slow with Sonic, it's almost like he's on ice skates or something. Drunken ice skates, I should add. He doesn't really navigate well in a 3D world, it seems, unless he's got something to home onto, and especially when he's moving around circles that are moving themselves. You know, again, I could just be total noobish here, but I find it to give me a lot of cheap deaths over there, especially when I'm just walking from one platform, hey, to the next. Alright, that was a cheap death. Not really, though, because I just did it a little too early, pressing the bumper buttons on the 360 controller. You know, it's funny, I am playing this on PC, on Steam, but I like to use the 360 controller. I think that the computer controls are a little ass-backwards and quite annoying to use, so I do prefer the 360 controller, and it's nice that it is enabled. It's one of the best parts of Steam, and that makes the whole experience doable, is that you can have a gamepad attached, and many games, even indie games, kind of especially indie games, like, for example, Super Meat Boy, they want you to use a controller. Haha! If you destroy that egg bot before he reaches his destination, which would have been where we just zoomed through, we gotta get on this higher platform, he would lock the gate, and then that would prevent you from going any further on that path. Didn't seem to bring us to anywhere all that spectacular, but who knows. Damn, I didn't want to fall off. It's all a matter of how you progress through this level, and it can really make a difference in what you see in the game just by a simple homing attack. A lot of the different paths are initiated that way by speedy homing attacks that are done at split-second rates. That's why I encourage you to go through these levels many times over. And we got a B here as well. Yeah, all those crumbling platforms really throw me off. Really, I love Sonic just because I can run fast, and when it comes to doing all that platforming, sometimes I can be thrown off. I know he's a platformer, and normally I wouldn't have trouble with platforming because it's one of my favorite genres of games, but with Sonic, I just want to go fast.
Thanks for the help. Not that I needed it, but it's good to have my sanctuary back.
Knuckles the Echidna, whatever that means, is free. That's right. As a noob of Sonic, I don't really know all the terms of Echidna and Chows, and I know Chows are adorable. Shadow is created by Eggman's grandfather, apparently, and wants to be, or is a facsimile of Sonic, yet goes on his own lone quest. But for the most part, I don't know much of the Sonic terms. So, yeah, Knuckles the Echidna. He's now free, and we'll progress on to challenges next time.